Tamil Nadu Open University, Chennai 15. Bachelor of Education in Special Education, Semester 1, SED 11X, Human Growth and Development, Audiobook 1. Block 1, Unit 2, Concepts and Principles of Development. Objectives. After going through this unit, you will be able to describe the concept of development, discuss the principles of development. Psychologists believe that education starts from mother's womb. We know mother is the first teacher of a child. Knowing the growth and development of the child makes one to bring the best in the child life. Role of the teacher is also high. They should concentrate on the development of the child through the psychological approach. Child's physical growth, mental growth, emotional stability, and value-based life are streamlined by the teacher when studying the growth and development of various periods of life. Meaning of growth and development. Growth refers to quantitative change leading to the goal of maturity. Crow and Crow defined that growth refers to structural and psychological changes, while development refers to growth as well as changes in behavior. Anderson states, development does not consist merely of adding inches to one's height or improving one's ability. Instead, development is a complex process of integrating many structures and functions. Harlock defines development means a progressive series of changes that occur in an ordinarily predictable pattern as a result of maturation and experience. Differences between growth and development. The following table focuses the difference between the growth and development of an individual. The table consists two parts, growth and development. First, we have to see the growth. It refers to changes in the body. Growth refers to changes in quantitative aspects. Example, increase in size, height, and weight. Growth will not continue throughout the life. Growth is narrow in meaning and one of the most aspects of development. Growth may or may not bring development. Growth is measurable because the quantitative changes are specific. Growth is physical and external in nature. Development. Development refers to overall changes resulting in improved function. Development refers to changes in both quantitative and qualitative aspects. Growth is a continuous process. Growth is a wider and comprehensive term related to both physical and psychological changes. Growth is possible without growth. Development is possible without growth. Development is observable because the result of development is quite complex and difficult to measure. Development is internal and can be physical, social, emotional, and intellectual. Principles of growth and development. There is a set of principles that characterize the pattern and process of development and growth. These principles of characteristics describe typical development, predictable and orderly process. We can predict how most children will develop and that they will develop at the same rate and at about the same time as other children. Although there are individual differences in children's personality, activity levels, and timing of developmental milestones such as ages and stages. The principles and characteristics of development are universal pattern. Principle 1. Principles of continuity. Development is a never-ending process in one's life. It starts with conception and ends with death. Example, womb to tomb. Point 2. Principles of lack of uniformity in the developmental rate. Development through continuous or not steadily and uniform at all stages of life. It may be rapidly in the early stage of but slow down in later stages. In other hand, each child is different and the rates at which our individual child grows in different. Although the pattern and sequence for growth and development are usually the same for all children, the rates at which individual children reach developmental stages will be different. Point 3. Principles of individual differences. Everybody is unique and distinct creation. Therefore, development undergone in terms of the rate and outcome in various dimensions in quite unique and specific. So each children grows and develops at his own unique rate. There is a range of ages for any developmental task to take place. This dismisses the notations of the average child. Some children will walk at 10 months while others walk a few months older at 18 months of age. Some children are more active while others are more passive. This does not mean that the passive child will be less intelligent as an adult. There is no validity to comparing one's progress with or against another child. Rates of development also are not uniform within an individual child. For example, a child's intellectual development may progress faster than his emotional or social development. Point 4. Principles of uniformity of pattern. According to this principle, every piece follows the standard pattern of development which is uniform over the world and there is no difference among them. In humans, physical development are categorical as two standard patterns of development, cephalocaudal pattern and proximal digital pattern. According to principle of cephalocaudal development, the child gains control of the head first, then the arms and then the legs. Infants develop control of the head and face movements within the first 2 months after birth. In the next few months, they are able to lift themselves up by using their arms. By 6 to 12 months of age, infants start to gain leg control and may be able to crawl, stand, or walk. Coordination of arms always precedes coordination of legs. Principles of proximal development means that the spinal cord develops before after parts of the body. The child's arms develop before the hands, and the hands and feet develop before the fingers and toes. Fingers and toes muscles are the last to develop in physical development. Similarly, other dimensions of development seem to follow definite sequence in all children. Point 5. Principles of proceeding general to specific responses. Growth and development proceeds from general to specific. For example, the child learns general concepts first, then makes depth and specific studies. First, the child learns to control his full hand. Later, he tries to control on the movement of fingers on his hands. Point number 6. Principle of integration. Growth and development proceeds from general to specific one. It does not mean that only the specific responses are aimed for the ultimate results of one's development. Rather, it is sort of integration that is ultimately desired. According to this principle, the child first learns how to move the whole limb, then how to move its various parts, and at least he learns to integrate various parts of the limb. So in development, there is a movement from the whole to part and from the part to whole. And in this way, it is integration of the whole and its parts. Point number 7, principle of interrelation. The various dimensions, example physical, mental, emotional, social, moral, and spiritual, of one's growth and development are interrelated and interdependent. What is achieved or not achieved is one or the other dimension in the course of gradual and continuous process of development that surely affect the other dimensions development. For example, a healthy baby tends to develop a healthy mind, an emotionally stable and socially conscious personality. Point number 8, principle of predictability. According to this principle, growth and development are predictable. Rate of growth and development of each child gives scope to predict the future development, either physically, mentally, emotionally, or socially. Principle of spiritual versus linear advancement. The child does not straightly proceed on the path of development with a constant and steady pace at any stage. Actually, he makes advancement during particular period but takes rest in the next following period to consolidate his development. In developing further, he turns back and then moves forward again like a spiral. Point number 10, principle of integration. Growth and development are joint product of both heredity and environment. Child's heredity gives the starting point, and from growth and development takes place due to the integration of child heredity with the environment. Therefore, at any stage, the individual behavior or personality makeup is nothing but the end product of constant integration between heredity and environment. Check your progress, notes, write your answer in the space given below. B. Compare your answer with one given at the end of the unit. Define the meaning of growth and development. Next, explain the principle of predictability.